Morning everyone, how's everyone coping? Lots of changes happening, I would say. I think from my point of view, from a work perspective, it's still going to be quite a few weeks off yet before I can sort of start work. Got a couple of options going on. I'm either sort of looking for a room, or we need to convert one of the rooms here to make it much more clinical, because at the moment you're not allowed soft furnishings, you're not allowed anything that the virus might attach to that you can't clean, and we don't have a room like that at the moment. So you're going to have to bear with me, and also, to be honest with you, we're only meant to be doing virtual appointments, and if I'm honest with you, they are working. So there's been quite a few people who have really helped with virtual appointments, and that's been great. So I thought I'd go through some stuff today that I've been sort of using to help people with virtual appointments, and just see how we go. But the other thing with treating at the moment is we've got to do a screening. We've got to do a virtual appointment first. We've then got to do our subjective virtually, and we're only supposed to spend 15 minutes face to face. So as I'm sure a lot of you are aware, 15 minutes probably won't actually be effective for what you all want from me. So I'm going to wait at least till the 4th of July, see what happens then. In the meantime, I am trying to sort of see what I can do about sort of the various options to make it safe for you and for me, and obviously if I do work from home, the rest of the family, because we have got a full house here. Believe me, I'm spending all my time cooking, cleaning, shopping, feeding them all. Anyway, enough of that. So what I want to talk about today is the lower back, okay? I'm sure there's lots and lots of you starting to suffer with this now, because this is what primarily that we do a lot of, when I do my hands-on. We look at why is your lower back tight, what's causing it to be tight, and what can you do about it. So that's what we're going to go through a little bit today. I blame a hill session on Thursday for me being a little bit extra tight this week. Ended up doing it with a rugby player and a Olympic athlete. Fortunately, because of social distancing, we couldn't do it together, so I was doing it on my own, but I was actually getting one-to-one coaching from an Olympic athlete, which was a bit like, anyway, consequently, I'm a little bit stiff and tight now, as you'd expect from doing something a little bit different. So when we think about the lower back, what we've got to think about is it's normally the victim, okay? That's not the prime area that we need to sort of attack and release. The lower back normally becomes painful and tight because it's been overloaded, right? So what the lower back does, it's very good at bending and extending, and it's really good at sort of, keeping everything nice and stable. But what it doesn't do very well is rotate. So if we think about our rotation, and I'm classically a little bit stiff at the moment, but if when we're running, if we're not rotating in our upper body, and that's just a nice little test to do, just see, can you twist? I can go one way, can't go that way, and it's, my left lower back glute bit tight. Right, okay, if I'm not rotating in my thoracic spine, my rotation's got to be coming from somewhere else. So that means it's then coming from my lumbar spine. My lumbar spine doesn't really want to rotate, it's not made to rotate. So maybe I'm trying to then rotate in my hips. My hips, are also a little bit stiff, notoriously for me. So, what are my hips like? Are my hips rotating? What are my glutes like? What's my pelvis like? So we just need to just assess all these structures and see, okay, if my lower back's a bit tight, why? Okay, so I'll start off with the thorax, and you can just start off sitting, because if you're sitting, your pelvis is sort of nice and fixed. You can put your hands across your chest and just turn, and it's like, that's it for me, and that's really rubbish at the moment. Had a hard Pilates session as well, so I blame Paula too. In a nice way, worked hard. I can go that way. Okay, bit better that way, but I can feel, I'm pulling in my hip, things are just a little bit stuck and tight. So straight away I know I need to sort of target my thoracic spine. And then I want to see what's going on with my hips. Actually, you might want to source a ball and a foam roller. Forgot to say that at the start. Right, so if I lie down, there you go, you can see that, right? And if I take my hips down to one side, yeah, that's okay. Nice, nice movement there. if I take them down that way, and it's like, you can probably see that, that's all really stuck down that side. So you straight away, you think, right, something going on in that left hip. And then pop your legs flat and think, right, I'm going to stretch out that right leg. And I can feel everything's giving in my sort of lower back, pelvis, hip. That's pretty good. And when I go that way, I can just feel it's all a bit stuck. And that's a nice little test that you can do just to sort of see, just, you know, check in with your body. Bring your knees up and just see, just have a little bit of a rotate round and just see, you know, it's moving on that left side as one unit. The right side, it's moving a little bit more independently. So just see, you know, what on earth is going on, okay? Arms above your head, have a really big stretch. Just see, you know, I can stretch out nicely with the right. My left's just a bit more stuck. And I'm just using myself as an example here because this is a nice way of just, you know, showing you what's going on. So that's showing me quite a lot going on there. And then I'm going to go onto my tummy. Now for me, running, you need extension, right? You need hip extension. If you haven't got hip extension, you're not going to stride out, and that's going to stress your lower back even more. So the two key things for me, if your lower back's tight, you need to check your thoracic spine, is that stiff, and you need to check your hip flexors, okay? And this is how you can do that. So lie on your tummy, okay, bend one knee up, and just lift it. And that's my right one, and I can lift that fairly freely, not too bad. Then I come to my left one, and I don't know if you can see the difference, but that's what you're aiming, you're looking at feel. It's just 100 times harder for me to lift that leg. And that tells me I'm probably a bit stuck, I know I'm a bit stuck, in that part of my lower back. So my thoracolumbar junction, my L1, 2, 3, which is where my hip flexors come from. So I know that I've got to address that a little bit. But first of all, let's go to our thoracic spine. Now we've done lots of thoracic spine releases before. You know, we've got the downward dog, we've got the cat-cow stretch. You know, my favourite is just going down into this position, stretching out. So, you know, we've done all those, all the easy ones. So that's fine. I don't think we need to go through those again, otherwise I'll just bore you stupid. Okay, so, right. So don't forget, have a little check-in of those dinner plates and just have a wiggle side to side and just see what is going on. So as I get up into a little bit higher into my thoracic spine, it's quite stuck. Okay, and just start off by having a little wiggle and just seeing if you can move it around a bit. Okay. Okay, and then just have a feel, just down into the sort of, you know, the diaphragm, and just see what those obliques are like. I know my left side gets a little bit tight. Just see if you just need to just loosen off those a little bit. And that will help you when you do some of that rotation. So just doing a little bit of wiggle on my thoracic spine and just loosening off that left side straight away. That's a little bit better, okay? So it's telling me where, you know, where we need to target. So then I want to get my foam roller. And it's not very nice out there, is it, today? It's quite a nice day to stay at home and stretch. So we are going out with the kids in a bit. And just, got to wait for them to get up first. Just roll over that thoracic spine. And I know that bit there's really stuck. And I might get, Andrew, just to have a little bounce on my back later, just to sort of loosen off some of those joints. It sounded very good, that, did it? I'm going to get him to mobilise my back a little bit, might rephrase that. And just, you know, if you know there's a couple of areas where you're a bit stiff, and, you know, you've not got an acute back, you know, you've not got anything going on, you've not got any, you know, neurological symptoms, you've not got any numbness or pins and needles or anywhere, you're not really going to do much damage. You just want to just do some gentle work, you know. You're not going to do any more than you are with a foam roller, other than you can just be a bit more specific if someone's doing it for you. So, you know, it's okay just to get someone just to try and just help you loosen things up a bit once you've identified where you're tight. And for me, that's the area where I'm really tight, right in that middle of the back, where I rotate from. So there we go. So, bit of foam rolling. Nice. Okay, so I can go back down now, and I can stretch out my right side, and there's definitely a little bit more give on that left side now. And if I go over that way, it's definitely moving a little bit better. And I haven't really done any rotation stuff. All I've done is just done a little bit of work to that thoracic spine just to sort of release it. So if we then have a seat, and just think, right, well, let's see if it's made a difference. And straight away you can see that actually, you know, I haven't done a lot of work, but that's already moving a little bit easier. So that's great, you know, that's really nice. So the next thing I want to address is I know that my left hip isn't extending very well. So let's go down onto my, I'm going to start off from the right side because it's always good to have a comparison, compare one side to another, because you don't know what you're doing, you don't know what you're feeling. However, if you feel something's different, or if you feel that one side is tighter than the other, then you think, okay, well, that's not right, surely the good side is going to feel better than the other side. So give yourself a comparison. So I'm going to go onto my side, and I've got my thumb, and I'm going to go down into those joints. So if I turn the other way, that way for a second, sorry, I'm working it out. Okay, and so you can just see, you know, along here, you've got your spinous processes that stick out the back, and then, you know, I don't know whether I'm coming down onto the joints, but it certainly doesn't feel like muscle to me. I can feel there's definitely a bit of a bony block down there that I can then just try and just move a little bit. Okay, right, now if I come the other way, and then I'm going to do my favourite, which is a femoral nerve mobilisation. Okay, so you've seen these before, but we're just putting it all together for the lower back again, just to recap really. So curl up, and not everyone's going to be able to do this. I'm quite flexible, and then you take your leg back and you take it up and down, and there's no tension in there. That all feels quite nice on that side, nice and easy. And you know, I would probably just do 3 lots of 10 on that. So I'm going to turn over because I don't need to do that side quite so much. Okay, so I'm going to come into this side now, and I think, oh, there's definitely a bit of difference, you know. It's definitely not as nice on that side. It's definitely a little bit more stuck. So, you know, all I want to do is just create a bit of change. So, you know, I'm not, you know, mobilising my back as I would do to you. I am just creating a little bit of change, and the body likes change, it likes movement, and that's just going to just help release things a little bit in there. Okay, so now we've done that, and it's definitely a little bit tighter this side. I can feel the tension in my left quad much more than I could on the right side, which tells me, and if I take my head up, the tension goes. Put my head back down again, tension's back on again. So that tells me there is a little bit of, you know, dural tension. The nerves are a little bit stuck coming down from my back, which I knew that, but you wouldn't know that. So that's a nice little test for you to do yourselves. Again, it's another, just a bit more ways of just exploring what's going on with your body, check in, you know, another sort of probably 6 weeks before I can see you, you know, get as much of this done and just free things off as much as possible, even if you're not sore, right? If you're not sore, doesn't matter. Still really good just to sort of check in and see what's going on with your body, because you might find you are a bit stiff and tight, and you might be one of those people that's not very good at detecting it till you actually try and free it off. You might be able to sort of feel an Achilles problem, but you might not be detecting the fact that your lower back's tight. So go through these things, really, really good. Right, I've now got a tennis ball. So I've released the 2 things that I think are probably causing my lower back, my thorax and my hips. And yeah, you know, I haven't done any of the obvious stuff. You can go through, you can do some of your hip flexor stretches once you've done that, you know, holding it, getting your sort of knee bent for your quad. Same on the other side, keeping your pelvis nice and still. Again, a bit tighter on that side. I probably need to do a bit more work, a bit of foam rolling I would do through the quad, through the TFL. And pick it up. So this is not exclusive, this is just the things that you wouldn't necessarily think of doing yourself is what really I'm going through. There's loads of other ways of loosening off your hip, you know, as you know, with your sort of stretching. Right, I've now got a tennis ball, so I'm now going to address my lower back, because I know it's still a little bit stuck down there, so I want to loosen off my left SI joint, and my right, and my sort of, you know, lower back, but I'm going to start by putting this, so if you can sort of see, under, that's it, right, so under my SI joint, and I'm just going to keep the ball still, but I'm just going to move forwards and backwards a little bit, as though I was mobilising that joint, yeah? And I'm going to go down a little bit, and I can sort of just feel it's a little bit stuck in there. And there isn't much movement in your SI joint at all, but you know, there's a little bit. And you know, what you're releasing really is a lot of the soft tissue around there. There we go. Okay, and I can go a little bit further out, and that's really quite tight into my glute. Oh, see, she did make my glute work on Thursday, which is great. I can assure you it doesn't normally work very well. So, going to make a sprinter out of me, yeah. We were doing sprint drills as well. It was all quite funny, really. Great fun, great to do. So I've just moved it over to the right hand side now, just to release a little bit. There we go. And then I'm just going to put it in the centre, and I'm just going to just pivot forwards and backwards as though I would over that joint a little bit. And obviously if you've got any long-term back problems, you know, I wouldn't necessarily recommend this. You know, this is more if you've just got a stiff back. If you know your back's a little bit vulnerable, and you know that you've got to be a bit careful, then you know, steer away from this part of the treatment yourself. You know, leave that to me. And I'm just working up my back now, and I know that my left side's a bit tighter, so I'll get the ball and I'll just work into that side a bit. So you know, we're just working through the various little levels of the back and just seeing if I can just create a little bit of change, enough just to sort of then allow me to do some rotations, do some movements. Okay, so let's just try. So if I take my knees down, great. See, there's not really any pulling there. And you know, I wasn't injured. Okay, and then if I just do a stretch over, see, that's all moving quite nice now. And that side, a little bit tighter still on that side, but you know, plenty more work I can do. But you know, I think you've got the idea now. Now, I wasn't injured, okay? I just knew that my back was a little bit tighter today. So I've just gone through that, and I thought it would actually be really useful for you all. So have a go, have a check in, see what's going on with your body. It's actually really important, okay? You need to, you know, the one thing that I can't stress enough at the moment is you need to take control of your body. I can't do it for you, okay? I can help you. I can start to sort of, you know, give you a little bit of guidance, but I can't do it for you at the moment. So, you know, take control, you know, don't forget to have an easy week of training every now and again, you know, every third or fourth week. Don't just keep hammering it. You know, find out the cause of what's causing things to be tight, then release it, and then, you know, don't forget, reload it. Don't forget to keep doing all those little exercises. We did a nice one in the park last week. Just have a little look back. Okay, right, have a great day, folks. See ya.